May 19, 2025. Statement of compliance with the Open Meeting Act is posted in this room. Madam Clerk, will you please call roll?
Alarcon. Barr.
Here.
Hemer.
Here.
Jablonski.
Here.
Lopez. Here. Polinsky.
Here.
Roth.
Here.
Schilling.
Here.
Council President Jablonski, the roll has been called.
Thank you. We have two items to discuss this evening. The first item is a request from the Legacy Youth Foundation to use a portion of Pawnee Park Memorial Stadium for drive-in movie theater. Who will make that presentation? When you please come forward, will you please state your name and your address?
All right, I'm Caitlin Campbell.
And I'm Campbell Tessendorf.
You got it up? Okay. So we wanted to start off by just giving a little bit of a rundown of who Legacy is. So we are a student-led nonprofit, and we have members from all three high schools in the Columbus area. So I was actually in the group when we were first founded, and we were founded by the Columbus Future Fund, and I joined at the beginning, but Campbell joined a little bit later, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I was one of I wasn't the newest member, but I was I came in a little later. So I wasn't part of the original group, but I still was able to be pretty active.
So we have members both based on application and recommendation. So Campbell's one of our members based on recommendation. So basically what we do is we do various things for the town. Our overall mission is to bring the youth of Columbus back into the city once they move on after they complete college or whatever their plan is. And we host events. We represent Columbus at various conferences such as the 6 Regions, 1 Nebraska conference. And we also set up internships for our members. And then Tara, if you want to get to the next slide. Thank you. All right, so we kind of wanted to think about why did we want to choose a drive-in, and first of all, we saw the success of other drive-ins around town, around Nebraska. So for example, McCook, they have a student group that recently set up a drive-in in their town, and basically it's just a way that brings all different people of ages together and in a way that is affordable for them, so it's kind of a cheap activity that people can do. Do you have anything to add on why?
No, you pretty much covered it, but yeah.
All right, so on the next slide we have basically just a concept of the site plan that we had. So this was made by some of the engineers that work here at the city, such as Richard Bogus. It is not anything finalized, but it was just kind of our idea. So if you see on the left side of the screen, is where the screen would be with a designated sitting area in front for the pedestrians, and then booths for everybody. We would probably have the the north and south entrances blocked off with barricades, so we would only have people coming in over from the right side. And then on our next slide, we just kind of have an overview of some of the details. So we did also have our profit loss statement, but I don't think it updated on the presentation, so it's not on there right now. But on our profit and loss, we decided for a cost per car would be $10. For our amenities, we would be using the Memorial Stadium's concessions and restrooms. And then our running dates would be May through August, and we would do a Friday night and a Saturday night show. And then we also consider doing a kids movie night on Thursdays. That would be earlier in the day and would run shorter movies with special shows for Halloween and prom. And then our next steps, once we could get city approval, moving on from there, our next steps would be to meet with an electrician and a structural engineer so we could get a finalized site plan and bring that to you guys.
Yeah, you pretty much covered it all.
Do we have any questions or any details? I do have the profit loss statement on my phone if there's any questions regarding that.
I guess the question I have is, will you have somebody over 21 signing the lease agreement?
Yes, so the Legacy Youth Foundation, our primary members are all they're all minors, but we do have a couple of adult sponsors. So Casey Bellitz is one of our main sponsors, and I believe that he is on our paperwork, so I think he's officially part of the Legacy Youth Foundation, so he could sign off on things like that.
So he would be responsible for all of you when they're out there?
I believe that's the idea.
Have you been told that, Casey?
When I think of drive-in theaters, I think of a big screen. I think of poles with speakers on them. I think of rolling hills where you park the car so that you can see the screen. Are we talking about any significant changes, alterations, modifications to the parking lot, to the area?
There was a couple trees that we would need to either trim or remove. And then we also needed to discuss if there was some way that we could turn off, there's, I believe, 2 or 3 lights that we needed to turn off. So if there was a way that we could get a panel that could turn off just those lights without turning off like all the lights in the park. But I don't believe there was anything like really significant in changes besides probably the trees.
Go back to your schematic where you showed the screen on one
Yes.
side. I think that will help explain when we're talking.
Yeah.
So the stadium is the bottom there, okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think your speaker system becomes your phone or your Wi-Fi,
Yeah, we were gonna
right?
do like a radio.
Right,
channel, yeah.
okay. So that kind of addresses part of what Brent had brought up.
Where's the screen?
Far
The
left.
the pink,
Yeah, right.
the pink.
No, the far left, the black. The pink is a sitting area.
Just further left of it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see. Right, yeah, got you.
Oh, okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah, so there's a couple like trees and stuff circled.
Okay.
That some of them we would need to remove, but some of them would just be as far as trimming them. And then yeah, there's like a light right in the middle that we would have to see if there was something we could do about to turn that off. But I think those were the only significant things we need to change.
So we're talking a permanent screen,
Yes, that is
Okay.
our idea would be to be permanent.
and what about a projection booth? What are we talking about for a projection booth?
We have like a shed that is being built by some of the teachers at SCOTUS or Lakeview.
It's SCOTUS, yeah.
Yes. And so they're building a shed that we would keep the projector in, and then we would store it off premise when we're not doing shows.
So my question would be probably directed more towards Rick. With our future plans and renovations for the park, what, or would there be anything that we need to look forward to in advance to, so they don't spend the money, put the screen up, and then we go and change all the direction and everything?
Yeah, we looked into that, and the future plans for the parking lot will not ruin this concept at all. We just know that obviously we wouldn't plant trees in some of those islands in the way. Some of the light poles that would have to light up the lot wouldn't be in the way, and we'd make sure those are also be able to be turned off during those events. So there wasn't any major change at all to our future plan because of this.
Would you think you would want to have PD protect, through the area during the showing of this, the police? I'm just thinking, is that something we'd want to loop in the police department in and have them aware? I mean, obviously they'd be aware, but.
I think there's a line in
you
the
know.
contract that they have to provide security. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I believe you're correct on that. Yeah.
You have to have your own security.
Right. Yeah.
But I
we'll
mean,
have
it's a
some-
good idea.
Well, and
employees.
I mean,
I'm sure they can pass through it. The fee, is a one-time fee, or is it for every event you're going to pay the same that they would if they rented it for a football game?
It's based on use.
So every time they use it, they'll have to pay a fee?
Yeah, and it's basically the electricity, the same fees that we would charge anybody that
football
uses
game.
Memorial Stadium.
Right, okay, thank you. Wasn't clear on that, if it was it's a great idea. I think you guys should be applauded for your efforts to bring something not new, but different to Columbus. I guess if you pay by the car, you won't have to worry about the people that are sneaking in the trunk like we used to have to do, so.
You sound like you know about that.
Jumping the fence, a few of those things. But any further questions? What are you requiring from us at this point?
They just need this agreement, like they said, to move forward, and then they'll move forward with their official plans for the screen, and they'll work together with our engineering department on that. They've already got their insurance moving forward, so just electrician, structure, and then the structural changes that need to happen.
And you want to kick this off in June?
Our plan would be to hopefully have like at least one show by the end of the summer, so that's, as soon as we can get moving, the better.
I think it's a neat idea,
It is a
very frankly.
Great idea.
I applaud you also. I, kind of an old fogey, and like I say, I was talking about speaker poles and rolling hills and the
But
like.
you never mentioned about hiding in the trunk, though.
I used to hide in the trunk too.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, I would recommend approval of the agreement with the Legacy Youth
Second.
Foundation.
But before you vote, we had another member join, and we can't let her go away without at least introducing
Because
herself.
you wore a shirt.
Hi, my name is Fatima Munoz.
We had some trouble with the hail, so the hail was running a little bit late, but yeah. And as I talked about how we had members join from different ways, so that's kind of a good example. So Fatima actually joined by application, and then Campbell's recommendation. So kind of 3 different perspectives, I guess.
Yeah.
How big is your board?
I believe we have around 20 around there.
20.
It's kind of like hard to say like exact numbers because some of our members did go to college last year, but like they try to come back, so it's around 20. But depending on the meetings, we have different amounts of people there. But yeah.
How many from each school? Are there any male members?
Yes, there
Yes.
are. Not as many, but there are.
How do you propose for longevity? I know Casey's going to be here forever, but as your group, do you have some leadership that just kind of keeps going on and on and
In
on?
perpetual type thing, it keeps going on and on. I mean, how many members from each school do you have?
I know we have.
The most is Columbus for
Yeah,
sure.
Columbus High School has the most, but I know we have at least. I think Lakeview'd probably be the smallest.
I think
we have
Lakeview-
around like 3 or 4 from Lakeview.
Yeah, 3 or 4 from Lakeview. Not counting the new members. And then SCOTUS, I believe, has like probably like 7, maybe.
So we do try to have representatives from all schools. And then as far as like keeping the group going, each year we have the new applications come out in April. And then we also do invite our college members to come back. So one thing that we do is every time we have a meeting, we have a Zoom code as well. So if people that are not in Columbus want to, they can come back into the meetings. And I definitely think there's some members that are planning to be around for as long as they can. I know Carly Gadicke is one of our college members, and she's still really active in the group.
Yeah.
And then, like, at least for me personally, I'm planning on hopefully staying active as well. So I think just encouraging people once they go to college to still come back is how we'll keep the group going. But yeah.
And what age in school are you ladies?
Seniors.
Juniors?
We're all seniors. Yeah.
Seniors?
Mhm.
You
So,
just
well,
graduated?
we just graduated.
Just graduated.
Yeah, yesterday.
Alumni.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so
Thank you.
we're all staying in, no, you're not staying in Nebraska. Me and Campbell are going to be.
Well, shame
no,
on
you're
you.
in South Dakota.
I'm in South Dakota.
staying in Nebraska. But, yeah, I'm planning on.
That should be a
coming.
requirement.
Yeah, I guess you're right. No. Did we have any other questions regarding any details on the drive-in that we can help answer?
I believe we have a motion. Do we have a
We
second?
have a second.
With that, any further discussion? If not, would you please vote yes or no? Looks like we passed. Congratulations.
Awesome.
We wish you well.
Yes.
It's a great idea.
Forward to it.
Thank
Yep.
you, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Good job.
Item number 3 on the agenda is amend City Code Section 133-03 through 133-05 regarding fireworks discharge dates, discharge times, and sales dates. Once again, if you're going to speak, make sure you address who you are, where your address is, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. Who is going to speak to this one?
Hi, I'm Deb Potter, 2866 Fairlane Avenue, Columbus, and I'm actually here as an individual. Most people think I'm probably here representing the Humane Society and the shelter, but I personally have been wanting to look at addressing this change for several years. And I think what brought it to the head for me was this past December. It just seemed like it was very, very extreme for the days that we were allowed fireworks. And I don't know about you guys, but most of what I heard, I would say there was a lot that was not legal because there were windows shaking, doors rattling, all kinds of things all over town. So I think that's what kind of got my interest to proceed and see if any other people were interested in this. And I did have people from the public actually emailing me or sending me videos. One lady actually sent me from her Ring doorbell something huge exploding across the street from her. So I know that, you know, some of this is people that are doing things that they shouldn't be illegally, but I thought this was a good time to go forward and address this. So I looked into what other towns in the area or throughout the state do. And right now, as far as December fireworks, the towns that do not have it are Lincoln, Norfolk, Kearney, Grand Island, Hastings, and La Vista. And then the other part of my proposal is to shorten our time in July from June 25th to June 28th. And as far as towns that are already doing those timeframes, it's York, Kearney, Grand Island, Hastings, and York. So, or I guess I said York twice. So I'm not only doing it as a pet owner. I have dogs that are scared to death of this. Other animals, I know it affects wildlife, it affects cats, dogs, horses, all kinds of animal issues. Now, if I jump to the paws and claws side of it, the week or two before 4th of July and the week after, we have animals in and out and in and out, lost, stray, scared, jump fences, bolt through doors. So it not only puts a burden on the shelter and the staff, it also puts a burden on whoever's doing the animal control in the city. You can probably check with them. They probably get way more calls than they would normally get. I also have been contacted by people that get up and go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. And when this is going on and these people try to go to bed at 7 or 8 o'clock, it's really tough on them. It interferes with their sleep. Also, statistics show the VA estimates that 7% of veterans suffer from PTSD. I looked at statistics and I could only find Omaha and Lincoln, but in the short time that they have fireworks in Omaha and Lincoln, which is 2 to 3 days in each of those cities, they had over 51 injuries at the hospital. I don't know, what our rate is here, but I would speculate that there are injuries, exceptional injuries, burns, so on and so forth. I believe you could probably check, and the dispatch receives calls, whether they're warranted or not, that they're shooting too loud, they're shooting too late, so on and so forth. And I know it is hard to enforce the illegal items, but I think if maybe some changes were made as far as making things a little stricter. I don't want to ruin everybody's fun. I don't want to do away with 4th of July because it's a celebration of our country. But I think that people that have abused it or are getting away with the illegal activities and it's hard to patrol, I guess I would say they maybe have caused some of this and maybe ruined it for everyone. And I don't want to punish everyone, but maybe by making these changes a little bit like this, it'll make them wake up and hopefully follow the rules and regulations.
Any questions for Deb?
So what we're doing is changing it from the 28th, from the 25th to the 28th.
Yes.
To start sales.
Yes.
Yep, thank you.
And then the times I had requested that instead of being able to shoot till 11 o'clock during the weeknights or during the earlier days, that it be 10 o'clock and then still leave like the 3rd and the 4th like they had been.
Mm-hmm. And then eliminating December completely.
And eliminating December.
as I've had comments for the short time this has been on the agenda, probably equally in favor and equally against changing anything. I've always been an advocate of lighting fireworks. I enjoyed it as a youngster, not so much anymore. But I also have a couple little pups that are definitely afraid of them. So, I'm torn both ways. But as it's written today, I guess I don't have a problem with eliminating December. And I don't have a problem with the shortening of from the 25th to the 28th in June. But what I have a problem with is us putting that into effect this year. And the reason being is we have vendors that have already purchased fireworks, accounting for those extra days of sale. And I'd hate to see them short-ended for the fact of this being rushed through. Now, December's another issue. It could probably go away, but I would recommend we amend it to start next year, with the reasons being said.
Well, and once again, I've been against fireworks for quite a while. When I was a kid, a sophomore in high school, I had a stupid event, and I ended up in the hospital for 3 days with 9 stitches in the back of my head. I'm not a big fan of fireworks, but that was my own fault. But I think we keep kicking this can, for my sake, we keep kicking the can down the street saying it's the vendors, we got to worry about the vendors. But I don't know if the vendors take any responsibility and to make this any better for all the problems we have. I know they just sell it and then they say, well, okay, do what you want. But I just don't believe we kick this down another year, my opinion.
Well, it's hard to put the regulations on the vendors. I mean, that could go across the board. You sell alcohol and, I mean, it's all kinds of things, but.
Yeah. Well,
we're pushing this.
It's an enforceable ordinance, and that's the problem, and we send out our fire people for causes, and we send out our police for causes that they could be doing other things. I think it's just, I think it needs to be narrowed. I don't know if everybody who's shooting off fireworks are doing it for the 4th of July reason. I think they're just doing it to do it, because they can. And so I think if we're looking at it as a 4th of July celebration, I think we've given them adequate time to do that.
Well, like I mentioned, I don't have an issue with shortening it. I just think
don't want
that
to start it.
starting it this year and putting the burden on the vendors
Okay.
that have already purchased for the span of time that they're allotted to sell. They prorate out, they know how much they're going to sell and how much they're not going to sell, or at least in hopes. There's a lot of nonprofit individuals or churches or schools or whatnot that purchase those. So that was my thinking.
Well, of all the ones that I've spoken with, everybody wants to see that stay from the 25th, or from the 28th through the 4th of July. They're all fine with that. Even the vendors that I've spoken with are fine with that. But they do bring up the same thing that Troy's talking about what they've already purchased their supplies this year, or at least some of them. And now all of a sudden we have to make a change. So I'm a little torn on which way to go with that part of it. But for the majority of the calls and the emails that I got, there was only one that complained that, no, you got to keep the December one. So
When would this, if this was enacted, when would it take effect?
So that is the one blank in the ordinance, the effective date. Typically, an ordinance is effective 15 days after its final reading. But in this case, that would be July 1st, which this window would already start. So you will have to decide if you want if you want it to be in effect immediately, which you are able to do, or if you want to make the effective date, say, August 1st. So it doesn't affect this year. That is a decision that you all need to make.
I agree with Troy. I don't have any problem in shortening the time frame. I do have a little problem with 10 o'clock versus 11 o'clock. this time of year, it doesn't get too dark by 10 o'clock for outdoor exhibition-type fireworks. You'll notice that the Kaboom people, they start at 10 o'clock, and we're proposing to cut off at 10 o'clock. I would propose that 11 o'clock remain, but it certainly doesn't bother me to shorten the time frame to the 28th. Doesn't bother me to get rid of December sales either. I'm a former fireworks seller, and my fireworks were ordered by this point in time. I had cash involved in it at this point in time. So I would suggest that if we enact this, it be enacted following the 4th of July this year.
Is there any way to, perhaps if there is the illegal things going on, to be able to enforce that? Like the lady that sent me the video of her Ring doorbell. If someone has that and can show that to police with the time and the date, can those illegal ones is there a way to enforce those?
Well, I think, it's a tough one, Deb. You show them a Ring camera, but by the time they get there, it's gone, it's blown up already. Do they have any more of those same kind?
Did you see who lit the fireworks?
Did you know, did the camera show the
Like I said,
individual?
it's an unenforceable ordinance.
It always has been that part of it. When, 2 in the morning, they're going off. By the time they get to where they've been told to go, nothing's happening, Richard, that's the perfect answer. I mean, the perfect explanation is it's just terribly unenforceable in that regard.
Right.
When did because I don't think we've had it that long, when did December come into play? Yes, sir.
You need to come forward, sir.
Sorry, I just thought it might be easier than Tara looking it up. Please, yeah.
It came in.
Your name and address?
Nick Slack, I'm the coach at the Sweatbox Boxing Club, work out at ADM, run the Kaboomer stand at J.C. Penney's parking lot. And it first came into effect New Year's Eve of 2000, or right around New Year's of 2000 was when they first started selling it. But I don't think it was every year after that. There might have been a few years off, then they brought it back to just do New Year's celebrations.
Okay.
And tell you the truth, I'm a real big fan of the New Year's December sales either. We don't do them, so we're just kind of here for the 4th of July, those days, so.
Well, do you want to speak from your experience as a vendor to what's been discussed here? I mean, that's part of.
I got here kind of late because we couldn't get in the doors out there, but I'd like to hold 10 days. We do it to raise money for our boxing club, which is pretty much a nonprofit. And I know there's other churches and schools, other nonprofits that, benefit from it. And all the vendors I know are pretty respectful, preaching fireworks safety. How you guys are talking, it's kind of like the ones that are kind of breaking the rules, of just regular, everyday people get the fireworks, ain't really following the rules how they should, is how I see it. That's about it that I have to say.
I would assume you have your fireworks already ordered as well?
Yes. Yeah, they'll be coming, I think around the 21st, our trailer will be coming and we'll start setting up then. Won't be selling, till the 25th though. So, any other questions?
No.
And I got animals, a couple cats, a few dogs, they ain't the biggest fan of fireworks either, but we get through it, so. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. Jason Teeley, 4230 West Raymond Road, Raymond, Nebraska, representing Crazy Cracker Fireworks. We've sold here in Columbus for 54 years. My wife and I now own the business together. we put a lot into our business, and honestly, it's kind of hurtful to see this blame put on us. I really want to separate ourselves from the illegal fireworks that are being discussed. That's not what our business is. We are very family oriented. Troy, you talked about lighting fireworks as a kid. I mean, that's our target audience. I mean, we are about the kids. We're here for the celebration. We're here to have fun. The thought of even changing this before the season this year, I can't even realistically imagine that. I'm over $100,000 in right now. Will this kill me to lose 3 days? No. We're open 10 days. I work the first 9 days. I make money on the last day. Our business is very weather dependent. We are super seasonal. We put so much into this business that I don't think you understand what selling fireworks is. And Nick's business is a lot different than mine. Everybody's business is different out here. Organizations, nonprofits, we are a for-profit business. I invest a lot of my own money to make this happen every year. We have 20 employees. They start working in March. I've been unloading fireworks for 4 months now. This does not happen overnight. My ad was sent to the printer last week. It has our dates in it. Everything is set to go for June 25th. Even thinking ahead to next year, I mean, we're already starting to talk about it. 250th year celebration. That is Independence Day, 2026. Looking at the dates, with the proposed changes, we start on a Sunday and on a Saturday. I don't even get a weekend anymore. I mean, at minimum, we're losing 20% of our sales when you cut down 30% of our days. Losing December, I don't sell fireworks in December. I don't want to stand out there. We did it one year of 2000. Our people do buy fireworks, though, and they save it. That's going to continue to happen. You say it's an unenforceable policy, so you just expect people to do it right. But we have people shooting late. We have people shooting illegal fireworks. None of these policies address that. The bad actors are the bad actors. I don't understand why we're going to punish the good citizens, the retailers who try to do the right thing. We just want common sense. Follow the state of Nebraska rules. Keep it the same. Rich, I know you talk about kicking it down the road. We fought about this 7 years ago. We're here again today. I don't know. Questions?
So you've been unloading since March already?
Oh, I've been ordering since August.
Okay. Do you have to order another bunch for December? Or is that already included?
We don't sell in December.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yeah, all of our product is here for this season. So if you know anything about tariffs, it's been a rough go in fireworks.
Yeah.
So every container that was supposed to leave in April, nothing is left. The only fireworks I have is what I brought in early. So it's been a rough season, and even rougher to stand here and have these questions.
So you would be all right if you were allowed to sell this year from the 25th to the 4th, through the 4th? Or, I'm sorry, the 28th through the 4th?
No, I would not.
You wouldn't, okay.
No, I mean, I will lose 20% of my sales overnight.
I spoke with another vendor, and he doesn't mind losing those days because he doesn't have that much for nonprofit.
Yeah.
So that's their major fundraiser. But he doesn't have the overhead that you do either.
Yeah. My business is a lot different than theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the billboards, printing flyers, insertion in the telegram. I just bought $4,000 worth of POS, $7,000 worth of tables. Like the scale that I operate at is not the scale a lot of them operate at, and that's no disrespect. I mean, we put everything into this.
Right.
Fireworks is our life. I've never had a July 4th. My July 4th is selling fireworks.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is our business. So.
Any other questions for Mr. Thiele? Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, evening. I'm Dorothy Bybee, 3272 33rd Avenue here in Columbus. I'd like to speak to, I feel I have a sensitivity for the vendors. I get that part. But if you have the product and you sell it, it's going to get blown up. I mean, and the days are really important. I can talk to you from an animal point of view. I have a couple of dogs that are basket cases during this period of time. But what I'd like to talk to you about is being a nurse and having to get up at 5 o'clock and having people shooting fireworks off over and over and over, enough that shakes my windows. So I have to go to work, and I have a dog that's a crazy person, well, crazy dog, and then have to get up. And so from that perspective, if we can shave down the time, I would really, really appreciate it. I think from a community point of view and overall, it would be much better. The December, go away, shave down in July. And I agree, don't do it right now. Immediately be sensitive to the vendors. But as we move forward, it would be really helpful for those of us that have to get up. I'm retired, don't have to anymore, but I did, and it's very, very difficult. So I appreciate your consideration of this and your thoughtfulness. It means a lot to me as a nurse, but more importantly to me as a pet owner and part of Humane Society. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jeanette Hollendeck, 1404 7th Street. I agree completely with not cutting the vendors off this year. However, it does need to be cut down. It is overkill. 10 days, Omaha and Lincoln have what, 2 or 3? Why do we have to have 10 days to blow stuff up? There's really no reason for it. If you want to celebrate 4th of July, and I love celebrating 4th of July myself, you don't need 10 days. Like, we celebrate Christmas, yes, everybody hangs up decorations, everything. You can hang up decorations for the 4th of July. You don't blow stuff up for Christmas. My proposal, Deb, is cutting off 3 days, is 3 or 4 days. That's what I believe it should be. So 7 days, I think, is pretty fair for everybody. I do, like I said, agree that cutting off the vendors this year is probably not the appropriate time to do that, but that's my take on it. I own animals. You got to think about the people who have PTSD, who are our veterans. They fought for our freedom so we can shoot off these fireworks. However, we're disrupting them and making their lives intolerable for 10 days. It's unnecessary, really. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Rachel Teeley, representing Crazy Cracker from Raymond. We pay sales tax. We pay a city permit. You take away our time, just like Lincoln and Omaha, they're going to go to Hickman. They go to Hickman and Davie. These people in Columbus, every one of our customers are now going to go to David City, Schuyler, Putt Center, wherever else. You're still going to have the same problems if you shrink down the days or not. It happens in Omaha and Lincoln, just like it happens here, is what I got. My only concern, we pay the sales tax. We'll lose that money as well. So thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak to this topic?
Hi, I'm Sarah Abler from Norfolk, Nebraska, 1000 Woodcrest Street. I'm one of the owners of Fly By Night Fireworks, and we've had a stand here for 10, 15 years. Like the gentleman before me, we order our inventory right after the 4th, as soon as we can do an inventory. And we have to pay for that up front, and we're not guaranteed we'll get our product. Sometimes we're getting it in as the stands are open, because they'll shut factories down in China. There's a shortage of containers, shortage of space on the ships, longshoremen strikes, tariffs, trucker strikes. There's always something. It's already a tough business because you know, we could have a dry ban during those 10 days, or we could have rain, and then we get nothing on those days. And it's a risky business. And so we're already dealing with all these other variables, plus the economy. 10 days does seem long, but a lot of those days are nothing. No one's doing stuff during the week. We sell, they might do a few, but it's really a bonus when people have 2 weekends, which is the 10 days, which will be coming up on next year, and it'll be the 250th birthday of the United States. So I wouldn't want you to cut the 10 days next year either. If somebody works shift work, which my husband worked for 30 years, and our partner is still working 40 years of days and nights in the same week, we understand shift workers and trying to sleep. All of us have dogs and cats, and I've been on the animal shelter of Northeast Nebraska for 6 years, and I've been a volunteer with them for close to 20. So I feel bad for the animals. We put ours in the basement with the TV on, and you know, it's tough. In terms of veterans, I've had members of my family serve in every branch of the military except Space Force for decades. And our partner's dad got 3 Purple Hearts. So talk about PTSD. That's the man who got our partner involved in fireworks. He loves them. I realize it's tough for some people, but there's other veterans that are like, hell yeah, I fought for this. So I'd also reiterate the city's sales tax revenue and permits. A lot of cities seem to have a shortfall of income. So it's not just fly-by-night stands, it's a lot of other stands. In terms of the hours, you know, sunset isn't even until 9 o'clock during June and July. And so if you can only shoot till 10, you have an hour to shoot, and part of that's still twilight. So especially on weekends, like Friday and Saturday night, or the 3rd and the 4th, I think the hours of discharge should be later, because setting off fireworks, people put a lot of money into them to enjoy them, and it's not as fun when you're doing them in twilight. They just aren't as bright and vibrant. It's like coloring on a coloring book with a white crayon. It's not very satisfying. You can't see where you were. Other than that, I guess, like I said, we already ordered our inventory almost a year ago. That would be like a retail store buying all these live Christmas trees and wreaths and ribbon and gift wrap, and then you say you have, 2 days to sell Christmas stuff. It's hard. And we have a lot of stand operators that schedule their days off with their job. They have to put in months ahead for the days off because they plan to work those actually like 12 days setting up and tearing down. They move their vacations. I mean, they've already put in for their time off to run our stands. So I would appreciate your understanding for our business and everybody else's fireworks business here and the people who love them. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Question?
Sure.
you're from Norfolk. What are Norfolk's hours and dates?
Well, last year they changed them. We still have 10 days. And the hours that you can sell, I think it got moved to noon, which we're okay with, until 10 o'clock each night. Maybe 11 on the 4th, I'm not for sure. My husband might be able to speak to that. It used to be until 11 o'clock or midnight on like weekends and the 3rd and the 4th. And they changed that last year. And our mayor wants us to revisit that because he's into fireworks and 9 o'clock is just too early. You have an hour to have your party, and it's kind of unenforceable, and so it's just, I think we have till midnight on the 4th and then 10 o'clock on the 3rd, which is insane. because most people have to go to work on the 5th. So we want the 3rd and the 4th, and weekends. Thank you.
Do you have any data on what a person can shoot off in an hour? I know the Red, White, Kaboom goes through $40,000 in about 20 minutes. What would an individual spend in an hour to shoot off fireworks?
Well, if they have $40,000 to spend, I hope they come to Fly By Night and shoot it off in 20 minutes. I mean, we have people that.
Good.
No,
It's
do you
just
have
that
any
I don't
data?
have any data. I don't have any data.
So,
We have people that come and spend
ballpark?
$5,000-6,000 for a show. We have others that spend $1,000 or $200. I mean, there's one group of people that do $10,000 for an evening and little stuff for kids during the day, but I have no idea.
And how long does that take to explode?
I mean, they
Hours?
usually do about
2 hours, 3 hours?
2 hours, 3 hours maybe, because, they kind of start off slow, and then when it gets darker, more, and they have songs that they coordinate with it. But I can't answer that, I'm sorry.
Sarah, I have a question before you step away. We're talking about the date of sale and then the date of discharge. Just throwing this out there, I mean, what if our date of sales stayed for 10 days, but our discharge date went down to 7 days? How does that affect you?
We wouldn't sell much on those 3 days. People buy the stuff and they want to shoot it off.
Figured
And
so,
people,
but I
and
thought I'd
people
ask the
come in
question.
from out of town. They do their shopping on the weekend or some evening. People work shift work. They want to get it before they go, a lot of them live in bedroom communities. To have days of sales without discharge is really not good for my business.
Okay. Well, I thought
And
I'd
I think
ask
it would be
them.
harder to enforce, because then you have product out there. And
Well, I understand, and I just thought I'd ask a question, because I was thinking along your lines, but I wanted to make sure that, if we could have a compromise, it could, but that's why I wanted to ask the question.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and like I said, it only happens don't make me do math now, every 7 years or whatever, that we get 2 weekends, which is great for us because everyone has their block parties. And then our sales aren't that great for Big Bang Boom because everybody's up there. And so, if Big Bang Boom takes up a Friday or a Saturday, that hurts us a lot. And besides, it's more fun to blow up your own stuff, so.
Ma'am, do you sell for December?
No, we don't.
You don't, okay.
We did, I think, in 2000, and it's not worth it. It's a lot of work to set up, and not many people want to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to this issue? Well, council members, we have a decision to make here. Do you want to make amend to that date to August 1st? Do you want to leave it as is? Do we want to not do anything? What do you want to do here?
I would move that we table the item
No.
until the first meeting in July.
Well, you're hearing people say that they're needing to order, and we can't keep pushing this down the road. We either make a decision one way or the other, or we go home. We just keep pushing this thing further down the road. So we either amend it to August 1st, or we leave it as is.
There is no effective date right now.
That's what I said, so.
There is no as is. There's no date.
But that would be part of an amendment, that would,
You need to make a motion that includes whatever the effective date is that you want.
right, that's what I'm saying. So we make the effective date either right now or August 1st.
It'd be the final reading or August 1st. Right.
So explain to the group what you're doing. You're going to do a final reading of changing it which way?
That's
Who's-
the question. Do we?
I mean,
leave
from
it-
what I,
leave the ordinance alone, or do we?
I mean, from what
leave
I,
the ordinance alone, or do we change the ordinance? or do we-
from what I heard, you had little to nobody talking about December. That, to me, is a no-brainer. Okay? 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 All right. Now you've got, now you've got to discuss, do you go down the dates you talked about and the hours you talked about?
I would move that we amend the ordinance to read essentially June 28th through the 4th of July. No December. Fireworks can be discharged until 11 p.m. During the first 5 days or 6 days, and then to 12 p.m. on the 3rd and the 4th.
And that cutting down, does that start this year or next year?
And making this effective August 1.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Sure.
June 28th through the 2nd until 11 p.m. And then the 3rd and the 4th until midnight. Effective
August 1st,
August 1st and no December.
and nothing in December. And what that does is it leaves everything alone for this year.
Okay, so the motion's in there, and we got it. Who made the motion?
Mr. Roth, seconded by Mr. Hemer.
You ready to open the voting?
I'm ready if you are. Drum roll.
Ouch.
Passes. Thank you for your time. This meeting is adjourned.